Hi there and welcome back to Scrap and Coffee. So let's get this little dome holder made to go in the memory box. And as you can see, I've already had the finished product here, but I accidentally throw away my videos of how I've made this, so let's do it again. So this is what we are going to make. And I'm just using some scrap pieces, so some of my chipboard is a little bit, it's not perfect like that, but that's okay. This is going to end up in the trash for me anyway. So you are going to need your 3 larger pieces of chipboard and 1 bigger one, and we are going to keep 1 larger piece of chipboard with us and the rest is going to the side for a second, because what we are first going to do is get your domes in. Now these are the ones from Tim Holtz, the corked dome holders. I just found them on Amazon, but I think Michael's got them. Yeah, you can find them on in your local craft store perhaps. They are pretty available, but you can also just go to your dollar store. They also have things that look like this, different sizes, but then you just have to adjust the size to what you are using, but that's perfectly doable. What I'm going to do, and I'm using 2 different sizes, you can also use 2 sizes of the same, of course. I'm going to remove the cork, place it on here, and I'm just going to trace the bottle actually on where I want this. Now what you can do is measure the center of your chipboard, make sure they're even spread out, everything. You can do all of those things. I'm just going to eyeball it for now. I'm just going to use my pencil to trace that. And I thought I was perfectly prepared, but I forgot to get one thing, but I will get it in a second. And I'm going to do the same thing with the other one. And now I want to have this circle here a little larger than what we see here. So let me see where I have that thing. Luckily it was not too far away. No idea how you called it in English, but you will probably recognize it. It's for making circles. I'm going to find the center, hopefully, and I'm just going to draw a circle that's a little bit bigger than the actual circle of the dome that we've just traced, so that it's the circle that we cut out. You want it to be a little bit bigger so your dome actually fits in there without any trouble. Doesn't have to be much, but just a little bit bigger, and this is just a guideline for me. Now if you have an electronic cutting machine that can cut through chipboard, then that would be perfect, of course, and maybe you can have that cut out that circle for you. I don't have that, so I'm going to do it by hand. And now I need my craft knife. Where are you? I can use that one. Okay. And I'm just going by hand. I'm going to cut out both circles. And this is going to take some time. You have to get through all the layers. It don't have to be a perfect circle. Try to stay on your pencil line as the best you can. That's why we make it a little bit bigger as well, because you won't be perfect. And I just go over several times, giving a little bit of pressure, but the more pressure you give, the harder it is to do it. So we just keep going. You can check on the back, I'm almost there. Feels like I'm through at some parts. Now I just turn it over and I just follow the line that I can see here. Maybe it's hard to see on camera, but I can see where I have cut. And then hopefully, yes, I'm true. And this is messy, especially with this chipboard. I just try it and that fits really easy. You want to have some space between your dome and your chipboard there. So I'm going to do the same thing for that other circle. Okay, so that is cut out. You see I'm not perfectly centered here, so you might want to make a little diagram for yourself, like where's the middle, and then find the middle of the two sides and center your dome on top of that point there. But yeah, I didn't do it, and for now that's fine. So then I've got a little piece of printer or construction paper, and I am just going to glue that on one side, and it doesn't really matter. Yeah, you can see, like, is there a really bad side and a better side, but I'm just going to glue it on top of here, just like that. And let's just do it like this a little bit. I'm just putting some glue here and there, and I just got it like, well, maybe 1/16 smaller than the actual chipboard piece. You just want to give it a nice coverage and just glue it on there. And then we turn it over, and let me get a little something where I can punch a hole with. I'm just eyeballing the center, punch a little hole there, and then get your craft knife or your utility knife and just cut that circle like a pizza slice. Like you're slicing a pizza, that's what I wanted to say. And the more pieces you create, the better of a circle shape you will be able to make, but it's not going to be like a perfect circle. There we go. And then we start with one circle, it doesn't really matter which one, and I'm just going to place some glue all over the place. Get a bone folder in here and just push that up. And then we are going to fold those pieces over. If you have a little overhang, you can cut that away. Make a little sun. And then you can also use your bone folder a little bit to make that shape there. I'm going to do the same thing here. Just try to get some glue on every little piece. Push it up. And over. And you can cut those little pieces there so you don't have any overhang. Now I believe, now let me check that I didn't worry too much about the bottom. Yeah, I didn't worry too much. What I did for the bottom is I got a piece of pattern paper of my choice. I've placed that on there. And I'm going to do the same thing for the top. I've placed it on there and I've marked my circles. And then I've used the circle punch to cut out the circles, and then I could stick the pattern paper on here. And that's what we are going to do for the top as well. And I can do it right now because now I can lay it flat. I'm just lining this up with some even amount of overhang on both sides. And I'm just going to draw the circle on there. like that. And I don't have a circle punch to match the small circle, but I'm just going to cut it a little bit bigger. That's okay. I have a simple 1-inch circle punch from Recollections that I got at Michael's. Just punching it where I have an even border all around. And here I can line it up because that's probably an inch. Yeah. So I've just cut that out. So that's prepared. You can do that later on as well, but now you can lay it flat so it's easy. Then we have to construct that little dome holder before we go any further. And you see, this is because I've been cutting that chipboard. It's all messy. That's this chipboard. This is going to be on top. So we need a bottom piece, a middle piece, and then this will be on top. So this piece here, that's where I'm going to work from. I've prepared some strips, 4 for the longer sides, 4 for the shorter sides, and I am going to glue 2 on the bottom. So we just get another one of your larger pieces of chipboard. And just with the memory box, I'm just using wet glue and construction paper or printer paper. It just worked for me. I think it's the cheapest, it's the fastest. I don't always enjoy constructing boxes, but like this, it's not too bad. And I'm going to place 2 of my shorter strips that I've already cut to size on the short side on the bottom. And one on the other side. And then it's been a while, so I have to think. I'm going to place fold on this score line here and glue one on the other larger chipboard piece with the folded edge on the outside. So we can place that one there, and then we also need to do that for this piece. So again, fold on it. And then you might want to think on how, if you're using 2 different sizes, on what side do you want to have the larger one and on what side do you want to have the shorter one. I did it like this, so I'm going to place my strip there. And that will go a little bit onto the circles, and we are going to cut that away, of course. So I think I used my knife, but be careful, you don't want to cut into your piece where you cleaned up the circle. It's a little bit soft of the wet glue that I've used. There we go. So that one is going there. Okay, now I'm just going to repeat what I've done with the memory box as well. I'm putting some glue on the strip here. I'm putting a little bit of glue on the edge there. And I'm going to line up the pieces best I can. And then we can stick this strip down that already has glue on it, so that's helpful. And then I'm going to glue the outside strip as well. So these are just 1-inch strips with a score line down the middle. That helps the folding a little bit, but this is thin paper, so it folds easy anyway. Let's do that for this side as well. So a little bit of glue here, some glue there. Line up those edges. Stick that one down. Now what we can do here is, before we put glue on, fold, place it to the side. It's hard for you to see now, but you have overlapping again of your strip in your circle, so I just mark it, open it up again, and then you can cut it out with your scissors. I think it's easier than glue it down first. And you can cut it, just cut your pencil marks away. Just make sure that you're not, yeah, you want to be a little bit away of your circle. Like that. Oh, it's not pretty, that's okay. We are covering all of that up. Just some glue there, and then we can stick it down. Then for the shorter ones, you want to make sure that you have them in the right direction, because the size is pretty close to each other but not completely the same. It should fit exactly in between your two longer pieces on the short side. So that's where you want to have your strip. So again, just fold on that strip, place glue on one side, on the outside, and stick it with the folded edge out. And this strip is a little long, so I'm going to cut that down. And it makes me wonder, did I do it right? But I did, yeah. And then this one is probably a little bit long as well. Yep. Is that better? Still a little too long. So after I've done all this construction with the chipboard, you really want to clean your work surface, because in my case it's messy. Okay, so I'm going to put glue on this side here, and again a little bit there on the edge. Place it with the strip to the inside, but line it up. For a nice straight edge. I like to pinch on my outside there to keep it in place. Stick that strip down and do the outer strip. See, this strip is also a little long. I've cut them a little bit too long, but it's fine. So that's one. So this is the base construction. So you want to make sure that you have this one on top, but you see this is still not completely secure in place. So we are going to clean up those corners, so let's cut some strips for that. And I'm just cutting them in where I have a little overhang on both sides. So we want to have 4 of those. And we are going to glue that on there. So I'm going to put some glue on one side, stay away about ½ inch from top and bottom. Stick it on here. Glue on the other side. You know, when you start on the short side, now I can lay it down. Make sure that that piece is lined up, and I can place a little bit of pressure on here. It makes it a little bit easier. Don't press too hard, because then you will be out of. And you will press it down too far down, maybe. And then we are going to make those slits. So we get 3 pieces. And we do the same thing here. Place some glue. I like to fold on the middle one first, and then the other 2 on top of that. And I'm going to place some glue here. Again, the middle one first. You can pull on it a little bit, but with this printer paper, if you're using it, don't pull too hard because it will rip. And fold those other 2 sides over, and then you can use your bone folder to really get that in the corner. So that corner is secure. Let's do the other 3. Okay, so all those 4 sides are done. You can also do the inside. I'm going to do it because I think it gives you a better clean end result. So for that, you are going to cut strips exactly to size, or almost exactly, something like that. So again, I need 4. And I didn't cut and score these pieces. Well, mostly scoring was not cooperating with me. So my score line is a little off, but. And these pieces I'm also just going to angle them. So I'm quickly folding them. I hope I'm not too much out of frame. I always have to think about that. I have to work far enough on my work surface when filming. So I'm sorry if I'm a little bit out of frame. I'm angling them. So some glue on the outside on both ½ inches, and just stuck them in the corner there. To clean that up. And then when all of that is in there, it's nice and sturdy, and you want to clean up your outside edges. So we are going to cut this to size, something like that. Yep, I'm going to angle it. Place glue on it. And then try to line up my score line with my chipboard edge for a nice clean edge. And then you can just fold that over. Let's see, I have another piece for this side. Now when you are going to do this edge here, you might want to look at the fact if you have any overhang into your circle. Now I've misscored, so on one side it's not too bad, but what you can do is draw that again and cut it out before you stick it down. And the other side I have a little bit of overhang, but I will probably be able to cut that once it's stuck down. It's easier, I think. So again, I'm just cutting roughly around the pencil mark, so I'm sure I don't have any overhang anymore. And I did it like that. Okay, so then I'm going to glue it down. And I did an awful job there, but we'll manage. Oh, it's not as bad as I thought it was. But it's a little bit more difficult to reach now to get it cleaned up. Okay, if it's not perfect now, it's fine, because we will make that look pretty, or at least a lot prettier than it is right now. Okay, so the basic construction now is done. So you want to make sure that you get your pattern paper in here. That's the next phase, and we've already prepared the piece to go on top here. I'm not going to decorate this whole thing, but you just what I do is I cut it about 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch smaller than your actual piece, so it can fit in there. Decorate it, and you don't necessarily have to decorate the bottom and the back, but I believe I didn't do the, oh I did, I've decorated all around, because you can take it out, and yeah, that's probably where my mindset was. Like, if you want to take it out, you want to have it nicely cleaned up all over. So yeah, this is just what you will be doing. And then what I did for the top is we've punched out those holes there, so we are going to glue that down. We know we have a little bit of an edge there, because I have a little bit of an edge there because my punch was larger than my hole. So I'm going to glue that down, and I did the same thing on the inside. Remember, I told you, right? So I'm going to place glue. Stay away about 1/2 inch from your short edge, because we can place that later. But what is important is that we are going to line up these punches here. So I go for a small border of white on both sides, but it's up to you. So glue that down, turn it over, and I make a little score mark there on both sides. And I'm going to slightly angle it. Doesn't need much, but just like what I did is I folded over on the long side and then placed a piece of pattern paper on top of the short side. And yeah, you don't want to have any overhang of your bottom pattern paper, so that's why I'm angling it. But there are more ways to do this decoration part than what I did. So then I place some glue there to stick that down. There we go. Now this is still not very pretty. So what I also did is find some circle punches, circle dies that fit best as I could get it. And yeah, I didn't use the right one. I was searching for the one that I've used, but I think I've used my punch in this one. I think I've used my punch. So this is what you're aiming for, to have your edge cleaned up. This one is a little bit tight. I can take it out, but it's a little bit tougher. And my idea is I don't make this to take them out and back in and out and back in. So yeah, you want to have it nicely to the edge. So just search in your stash on what punches or dies, or maybe your cutting machine, your electronic cutting machine, you can make the perfect circle to clean that edge up. So mine is not perfect now, but you get the idea, I think. I'm not going to make a new one now. I just couldn't remember what it was that I had been using for it. But you want to clean it up. And I've just used white. You can do that with different pattern paper, of course. So that's what I would do on top here to clean that up. And then the inside is still not very pretty, but when the bottles are in there, you don't see it. So, and like I said, I'm not making it to put it in, pull it back out. You just want to have it in there and stay in there. Now this is pretty firm, so I'm not too much worried about it flipping and flapping around. But what I did is I've made a little support and just punched out 4 circles of the same size, glued 3 of them together. I will just show you this. So this one is already made, so I'm going to glue 3 of them together. You can also do 2, that would also be fine. That's 2. And 1 more. And then I made a little hole in the middle, as centered as I could get it. I'm using my crocodile for it, but you can use any punch you desire. Try to get that centered, of course, but it's pretty difficult. For me, it's pretty difficult. And then I've glued these 3 with the circle on top of the 4th one. So you have a nice round base. And then the idea is that you put your pattern paper on the bottom here first, of course. And then you can glue this down on where it's going to support the bottle. And that's hard to get it exactly where you want it. So I'm pushing down, so like that. So that bottle is standing on top of that circle, and then because you have the little hole in the middle, it makes sure that it doesn't go sideways. So I've done that here for both of the bottles. I really hope you can see it. And that's just holding it in place a little bit better, but you don't really need it, but yeah, it's just extra support. And then what I've done is to make sure that it stays in the box no matter in what direction you are holding the box, or yeah, maybe your daughter, like my daughter, is going to walk around with it. You want to make sure that it doesn't fall out and break. So I've magnetized it, and for the magnets I've used the basic gray large magnets to have it really, really secure in there. It's tight. That's what I wanted. I really want to be sure that when it's in there, it's in there. So before you put your pattern paper, you stick one down here. I'm not going to do it now, of course, but you stick one down there. You place the other one on top. Oh, those are 2 of the same. That's why. So place one on here, centered, remove your tape backing, and before you decorate the inside of the box, stick it down on there in the position where you want it. So when you place this in there, it really stays in there. So you do that before you decorate. And I really recommend, if you don't have the large ones, you only have smaller ones, then please place two. It's, you know, just to be sure. But I'm not going to tell you that you must do it. It's up to you. So yeah, that's how I've made this dome holder. It's not really difficult, but you just need to take the time to do it. So next in the video, I will show you how I've placed the box in the album. So then the whole box part is done. We can go to the album part. But what I'm not sure if I've already filmed the part where I've put the box in, and I don't recall if I mentioned it very clear, but what I do want to mention is the easiest way to go is to make your pages, have your pages in the album before you place the box, because once the box is in there, it's more and more difficult to work on your album part. So just keep that in mind, please, that just you can make the box, put it to the side if you're making the double-sided album, make your album, finish up your album, and put your box, glue it down at the, yeah, I think that's one of the last things that you should be doing. So yeah, I just wanted to make that very clear. Okay, so we're going to place the box in the album cover right now, and for that I've taken out all of the little drawers. I've placed some double-sided tape on the back and I gave it good coverage. And now I'm going to get the cover in. So this is the side where it's going to go, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to place it in a way that when the book is closed, that this is going to kiss each other. Now I have been thinking about gluing it on there, but yeah, I'm afraid that my cardstock is going to crack if I'm going to make it bend that way too much. So I'm not going to do it. If you have used the easy wrap method on your cover, then you can certainly do that. So yeah, just something to think about. I'm going to use this piece of cardstock here that I've used to cover up the spine to line it up on top and bottom. And of course I can hold this up when I'm placing it, and then you will have a little more than 1/8 inch here. There's one more thing that you have to think about. If you want to wrap your spine part for the cover decoration, so if you want to have this wrapped, then you have to do it now before you place your box, because after you've placed it, you're no longer able to wrap it. So I've went wrong on this side, but I was thinking about wrapping the spine because I just like that look. But I've already placed my pattern paper here and I'm not able to wrap it anymore now. So I'm not going to do it. Maybe I'm going to wrap it on one side only, or yeah, I'll see. But to make it cohesive, I'm not going to wrap it here either. So I'm just going to place this here. So I'm going to remove the tape backing and I'm going to combine it with wet glue again. See, my bottle is almost empty, so let's see how far we get. It's mostly for giving me some time to get it where I want it. Okay, so I'm just going to lift up this spine here. Try to get it straight. Yeah, I think that's fine. Now it's pretty hard to burnish this in place. So I'm just trying to give it some pressure here and there. But I think we just need to give it time to dry as well. So now when we... Oh, and you know what I forgot? My ribbon. Ugh. See if I can work around it. Of course I needed to place my ribbon there. I'll see, I'll fix it. Okay, so the box is in there. And we can just put these ones back in here. I need to decorate this, of course. And do the cover. So the box is in here, and of course, yeah, I'm going to see what I can do to get that ribbon there, because that's what I want. I've done it here. I need to cut it down a little bit, but yeah, you see, it's a big project. But I love how that turns out. Well, I'm going to see what I can do with that ribbon. We'll see if I'm able to fix it or I have to come up with something else, but it will all be fine. Okay, so yeah, that's it actually. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.